started to train jiu-jitsu at the age of 13 years old in Brazil, and since that it's been like training every day, and I ended up following up a competition career where I was traveling a lot to compete and training every day. That was the goal from the beginning. It's a sport that I fell in love with, and I moved to the United States in 2007. I came here to compete, and went back to Brazil, and then I had the opportunity to move back to teach jiu-jitsu at the Gracie Barra. Master Carlos Gracie Jr., Professor Márcio Feitosa invited me to come, and here I am today. I moved in 2007. I've been teaching jiu-jitsu in different Gracie Barra schools since then, and 3 years ago, I was awarded by Master Carlos Gracie Jr. as a head instructor at Gracie Barra headquarters, which is here. It's a very honored to be on that position, and I work very hard to spread the word of Jiu-Jitsu and Gracie Barra and the Master Carlos Gracie Jr. to keep the Gracie Barra legacy alive, to teach Jiu-Jitsu to as many people as possible so they can benefit from the sport like I did for myself. We have on this school here almost 600 students, members, from the age of 3 years old all the way. The oldest one today, I believe, is 66. So in between all those ages, we have a lot of people, a lot of kids and adults, yeah. They can benefit themselves from Jiu-Jitsu, not only learning a technique, but the respect, to learn how to listen, learn to be, somebody teaching them something, and a lot of things that they can start learning at very young age. Learn a little bit of self-defense, learn how to fall, which is important for little kids as well, yeah. For them, when they train martial arts, train Jiu-Jitsu here, besides their parents, they have somebody else that also teaching them. Sometimes they listen to them really well, and they begin at the young age to learn about respect, to learn about little things that later on will give them a lot of confidence as far as Jiu-Jitsu techniques, and to be involved with the sports. They learn in a natural way since they begin at a young age. But besides the technique, they learn a lot of values that they can add to their lives in the future. Yeah, the values of respect, the values of listen to somebody older, somebody who is telling them something, listen to the parents, and we teach them to things like this. So when they hear from somebody who are not the parents, it helps, in their education, and it's so many things that they can, as far as learning how to fall, learn how to be confident, how to stand up for themselves. It's a lot of things that the Jiu-Jitsu class bring to them as well, yeah. The Jiu-Jitsu, we teach Jiu-Jitsu for everyone, that we say. That's no limitations, right? So don't matter your age, don't matter your physical condition, you can still learn the sport, and practicing, learning the techniques, being around the group, it makes you learn about yourself, your physical limitations, what you are capable to do, and it's a great, I believe everybody should know how to defend themselves. So no matter how old you are, you should learn self-defense, you should stretch, you should take care of your body so you can have a nice life, live longer. And in Jiu-Jitsu, besides the training, we teach them we call the Jiu-Jitsu lifestyle, which is to be good inside the academy and also outside the academy. When you eat well, you can train better, so it kind of involve everything. It has changed for better. It has changed for a little more professional now from the time that I started, And I think sports Jiu-Jitsu, the Jiu-Jitsu, it's growing and it's evolving like everything else, right? Like we have an old phone, and today you have a new phone with a lot of more things. Jiu-Jitsu the same way. As the year goes by, more techniques, people develop more techniques, the programs, the Jiu-Jitsu programs are more developed, and it's a young sport, and that's getting better every year and has more people practicing every year. I think it's great, because they're giving something to the kids that after, when they get older, they're going to have something very, very valuable for their lives. I can use me an example. I was very shy when I was a kid. I had trouble with the communication, and Jiu-Jitsu gave me a lot of confidence that today I can speak to you guys on TV, I can teach classes to hundreds of people. You know, it changed my personality a lot because the confidence boost that by practicing Jiu-Jitsu, that's one thing that benefited me, and I can see that benefiting a lot of kids and at a lot of young age. And when the parents, a lot of times when they enroll the kids in Jiu-Jitsu, it's just to have them trying a different sport. But once they're here and they see what is behind the philosophy of the martial arts and Jiu-Jitsu, Gracie Barra, and once they see that value, it's something that you want to keep them doing, because at a young age they don't realize how valuable it is. But later, when they grow and they get older, there will be something that they have that nobody can take away from them. It depends. I started to train and compete at a young age, and I train today the same amount of intensity as when I used to compete more than I am today. But it's something that when you get older, you change your priorities, you know. And after you've done, like for me in my case, I've done competition for so many years, and today my goal is to focus more on my students. I also help a lot of professional fighters from UFC, and I give my time to them, something that I enjoy at this stage of my life. But if you come here at night, you come to the class, you come to the competition classes, you're gonna see me training the same way as you know, as anybody else. So it's something that is so pleasure for me to do. You know, it keeps me in shape, keep me healthy. So training the same way, yeah. First, when they begin to train, we teach them self-defense, the techniques of self-defense that they can use to defend themselves in a case of confrontation, and in case they need to defend them. And all these techniques applies for in case they decide to go for a Jiu-Jitsu competition later, you know. And at Gracie Barra HQ we have different programs. So if you come here and your goal is to be the next world champion, we have the class for you to train for that. If your goal is to train just to sweat and do a workout, we have that class for you. It depends, no matter how your goal is, we're here to help you and have the right program for you, because it's important to separate people according to their goals. Competitors, champions goes to one class, where, you know, if you train Jiu-Jitsu just for recreation, self-defense, another class. Same with the kids. The basics are very important. The foundation, it's very important. Something that you have to practice forever. Even when you master something, when you become really good, you still have to go back and practice the basics. So the one thing that we focus a lot here is the basic techniques of Jiu-Jitsu, leverage, and then add it up as you get higher belt, as you get more experience. That's when we add it up more techniques, yeah. I wish the whole world would do the same, because, you know, I believe in Abu Dhabi, they saw the value of Jiu-Jitsu and decided to split out, which was a great thing. And I'm a big fan of the work that in Abu Dhabi, and I follow, I see the kids working, the adults, and all the events. So I'm a big fan, and I think Abu Dhabi, it's already, but in the future also will be you have a lot of power in Jiu-Jitsu, a lot of champions coming from Abu Dhabi as a black belt level, because that investment that they're doing and the whole community, especially with the kids. Jiu-Jitsu, Master Carlos Gracie Jr. says, if the whole world would practice Jiu-Jitsu, we would live in a better world, because inside the mat, everybody's the same, right? No matter who you are, and when you come to the class, everybody's the same. The brotherhood, the family spirit that we have, the whole community is very connected, and I believe as more people that practice Jiu-Jitsu, better the communities will be, the world will be, because the values that martial arts and Jiu-Jitsu brings to everybody when they are inside the mats, the friendship, sharing techniques, training together as well. Jiu-Jitsu for me is, like you said, profession, is a hobby, is something that I love, and more than that is, like I told you, I benefited myself a lot from the training and from Jiu-Jitsu, and it's very rewarding to see how much people can benefit from that. So we try to share as much as possible and make people feel comfortable and stick with Jiu-Jitsu so they can feel better, they can benefit themselves as well. So we like to share as much as we can, having the right program for everybody so they feel comfortable. When I moved from Brazil to United States in California, they had one Gracie Barra location in Orange County, which is very small. And since now it's been 11 years, today, just around this area here, we have 30 Gracie Barra Jiu-Jitsu schools, and all these schools with hundreds of members. So it's something that's been growing a lot. It's very very nice to see from the beginning to the day that's today, and keep growing. 10 years from now, we believe it's going to be much bigger, and just more people training. Very good to see, and on the daily basis to hear from the students how much Jiu-Jitsu has changed their lives, how much they changed their families' lives and everything. I believe it already is. I believe today it becomes it's no longer like a huge sport only in Brazil, United States and Europe, Abu Dhabi. It's been so many people training. I don't believe nowadays it's big only in Brazil. It's big all over the world for sure. Japan, United States has already black belts, world champions, and so many people teaching here. So many black belts from Brazil live in Abu Dhabi, growing the sport over there. Yes, but for you to become a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, for you to become a world champion in a black belt, it takes years of training. So it's that's why I believe in Abu Dhabi, maybe 5-10 years from now, we have so many black belts from Abu Dhabi. It's gonna be a big sport over there, bigger than it is today. It's exciting to think about how the future will be in 10 years from now. But also I believe that even if Jiu-Jitsu does not become an Olympic sport one day, will not affect the growth of the sport, because it has big structures, big countries already behind supporting, and it's growing every day. So the Olympics, being Olympic sport, adds a little bit of value for that. But the way the sport it is today, I don't think it will change much being Olympic or not. I think it will grow the same way. I don't go much. I don't travel much to Brazil. I'm very busy here. I have a lot of projects here. My wife, my kids all live here. So sometimes it's hard to go back. I had the chance to go a few times only since I moved here. But it's always nice when you go there and you train and you see the family, you visit people there. So the way I do myself, so I have them coming here, visit me a lot more than I go there visit, But we have here, since this is the headquarters for Gracie Barra, we have visitors here from all over the world. We have people coming here from Brazil, from all over. We have almost 800 schools worldwide. And this is the main school, so people come here from all over the world, so which is nice for us to keep the connection with the Jiu-Jitsu from all over, because they bring in information, they bring different techniques, and we can check how much the level of the sport in different countries based on how many people come visit us and how and their level as well, how higher belt they are. Ferret, furão, it's a ferret, it's an animal, and when I was younger, just people make fun with me and say, "Oh, you look like the ferret." In Brazil, in Jiu-Jitsu, a lot of people have nicknames, and that's my nickname from when I was a child, and still up to today, some of my best friends, they only call me by nickname, yes. I started to compete at the age of 13, compete in all the belts and the best tournaments in Brazil, and even before they have international events like they have now, and compete in many tournaments. At the age of 20, I became a European champion, a black belt. I got my black belt when I was 20 years old. And I competed, I'm a multiple times Pan Am's medalist, World Championship medalist. And I enjoyed a lot my competition time. And was something that the only thing I had on my head was train and compete. When you were in the 20s, when you were young. And I have great memories in Brazil, traveling and driving cars for many hours to go compete in Rio, go compete sometimes without much money, just put some gas in the car and go. And then in 2007, we start having a lot of tournaments in the United States. People start traveling here more. The World Championship moved to the United States. and all tournaments are growing so much. In Abu Dhabi, they have a lot of tournaments now. Competitors, they have a chance to compete and travel everywhere. And besides the training, besides learning jiu-jitsu, they have, jiu-jitsu brings them all over the world. They go visit many places through jiu-jitsu competition. I had that a little smaller since my time. There was not many international tournaments, but I used to do that a lot of traveling. Here in the United States, when I compete, a couple years ago, I started going a lot of different places as well, different cities. You know, it's always nice to get a good group of friends and travel together, go eat together, and compete and meet different people. It's a great life experience. At the highest level in Jiu-Jitsu, from the black belt adult division, from over 10 years. And I competed with the best guys in the world, guys who are, when we're inside the mat, were like opponents, but I'm a big friend with a lot of them, you know. And there's many, there's, for example, I would say there's guys who have competed, let me think, there's so many, you know, but I will mention like maybe Lucas Lepre, the current world champion. I competed with him, and he's a great guy outside the mats. I know him outside the mats as well. And many of them, Fredson Paixão was a guy that was a black belt world champion when I was like a blue belt, and I had a chance to compete against him later on. I was a big fan of him, and later I had the chance to compete against him. And all these big names that from the lightweight division black belt that you can pick now, I have been on the same bracket, same tournaments with them. Carlos Gracie Jr. is my mentor, and he's somebody that I follow. I give everything, everything that all the opportunities I have. He was really he played a big role on that, and he managed to. He asked me to be the head instructor here at the HQ. He was here last week. He travels here a lot, and every time he comes in, teach us a lot, and gives us a lot of wisdom, gives us a lot of knowledge, and inside and outside the mats, how we should do in our lives, how we should treat people, how we should do all that. It's great when you pick the right mentor, somebody older than you, somebody with more experience, and that can teach you something, teach you the path of how should you do in your life to succeed in your life, to be successful, inside and outside the mats. Because you can be world champion inside the mats, but you have to apply being a champion outside the mats as well. The way how you treat people, how you treat your family, to be a nice person. If you just has medals, but the outside is not balancing, I don't think it's something that has much value when you get older. When you look back to your life, you have to be everything together. Yes. I started training at the age of 13 in Belo Horizonte in a Gracie Barra affiliated school. And since today, I'm representing the same team, learning from the same team, and it's something that I learn a lot from Gracie Barra, from all the leaders, from all the professors, and part of my personality, the way I am today, it's because how much I learned from them inside and outside the mats. My son and my daughter, they are twins. They just born like 3 months ago. For sure, I already have the gifts for them and everything, and something that I want them to do, and they will choose what they want to do from there. If they want to be competing, competitors, be a champion, or if they just want to do as a lifestyle. But I'm for sure I will encourage them and support them to do jiu-jitsu at the young age. Technical aspect will grow every year, every day. There's a new technique, new development thing, and there's many. It kind of depends on if you talk about self-defense, if you talk about tournaments. Today, to be a champion in jiu-jitsu, you have to know everything. You have to be good on takedowns. You have to be good on bottom, on top, right? Depends on the divisions. Like lightweight guys, they tend to go more on the bottom. They like to play more guard. And if you go to the very heavyweight guys, they like to be on top because they are big and they can use the top game more. And in between that, between the middleweight, lightweight, middle heavy, which is in the middle, you have people that do both, you know. It's hard to pick one technique, but I believe the foundation, the basic techniques that you learn in the beginning, arm bar, collar chokes from the back, those are the things that will always be displayed at the highest level. What happens is sometimes change the way they do the entrances, the way they do the transitions, but at the end of the day, when it comes to submission, it will be arm bar, it will be foot lock, it will be a choke, you know, it's just a group of things that they're gonna be doing. My favorite technique is chokes. I like to go rear chokes from the back, yes. And I like arm bars as well, yes. But if you have to pick me a technique, it would be a collar choke or rear neck choke, yes. Self-defense, you have to be really good at the distance, right? Somebody tries to attack you. Manage the distance to stay safe. The next step would be, in Jiu-Jitsu, avoid punches and kicks and try to close the distance and clinch. And then after you clinch, you want to bring them to the ground to control. So basically there's three phases, right? The standing part, the basic strikes that you have to know, and then the clinch part and takedowns and the control of them on the ground. And if you base yourself on defending yourself against somebody, most of the time people don't have any martial arts skills, because people who train martial arts, they are not the ones that will be attacking somebody, right? People who attack, they usually don't know martial arts, they don't know their value, and they don't have self-control, they want to go to a fight. And we base a lot of situations in self-defense against somebody who doesn't have any martial arts skill, just strength, and they come aggressive towards you, how you use those elements to control them without hurting them and also protecting yourself. I think 10 years from now, we will have a lot of more black belts, a lot of more people from different parts of the world displaying, competing at the highest level. You know, you see people from all over, and the techniques will be a little bit different. And like some in my generation, they have some techniques, and then 5 years later, you see a lot of new techniques created. 10 years later, you see a lot of different techniques coming up. And I believe like in 10 years from now, the sport will keep evolving, you keep moving forward. And with the technology, with the social media, with YouTube channels, TVs, this helps a lot the growth of the sport as well. For example, when I started to train, we didn't have much internet, we didn't have resource to see a technique. You have to go to seminars, you have to travel to somebody else. Today you go to your phone, you type Jiu-Jitsu, you'll see thousands of techniques, and you can go and with your friends and figure it out and learn. And the information, the way they cross information today is way better than 10 years ago, better than 20 years ago. And you keep getting better and better with all the online trainings and all the tournaments. You can, for you to watch a fight, you have to go to a tournament. Today, you can stay home, just go on the internet and you watch live, and you can study from those matches. And because the fact of the technology as well, it's helped a lot Jiu-Jitsu, and it's gonna more brains, more people training means more brains thinking about, means more techniques will be developed, more things will get better. Yes, somebody that start to train Jiu-Jitsu today and want to be a champion, you know, it's a lot of more people. When you go to tournaments, the brackets are bigger, more people competing, and like I mentioned with the information that's so easy to do today, you know, you compete and then they have a video of you on the internet. Your opponent's gonna study that video, and the next time you compete, they kind of know your best moves. So it's becoming like a very interesting to see how you display your strategy in the tournament, because if you're good, if you're champion, people know what you do, and they will study to make a strategy to go against you. And that's something that you have to keep the champions always evolving, you know, and growing. Otherwise, after they know what you do best, they can shut down your game. You'll no longer be a champion, somebody else will be. But this is something that will help the sport to grow, you know, that nobody can afford to stay still and just do one thing. They have to keep changing. And that's why I believe the way the sport it is right now, 10 years from now will be much more. And also the physical aspect. Jiu-jitsu athletes are getting better as far as being a good athlete, being in shape, eat the right thing, have the right supplementation, and they have the right physical training. So when they can perform the right techniques, when the body are stronger, they can handle matches, our matches, and things like this. So for you to become a champion today, it's not like you have to be good at some techniques. You have to be good in a lot of different things in jiu-jitsu. Physically, mentally, you have to have support. Like in Abu Dhabi, they have a support from the country, which is great. Some people in Brazil don't have that yet. They have support from friends, from family, you know. And whoever more support you have from the beginning, more time you can dedicate to the sport and to the things that can have you get better at the sport will be good, best for the competitors. Yes, I believe in jiu-jitsu, when you train martial arts to train jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu gives you a self-control when, if somebody, in case you want to attack somebody, they want to fight on a traffic or something like this. People have that problem of violence in Brazil. It's not related only to fight. It's also related to many things, drugs and corrupt politicians and stuff like this. But definitely, if you practice a sport like jiu-jitsu, you give you peace of mind. You make you a better person who will always, try to help others, and you make more peaceful communities and make people get together more. Jiu-jitsu, a lot of people, like say in this area here, right? They work all day. Everybody has problems, and some people get very stressed, and stress something that can give you a lot of bad things, And I believe jiu-jitsu. I tell my students, when you come into the door and you want to go train, you want to forget about everything you have outside. You just dedicate that 2 hours to yourself, so you enjoy something, you break sweat, you have a connection with your friends, it makes you clear your mind, that you have a balance. Very stressful people, sometimes they work all day in the office, they don't have chance to do much, and something that you accumulate and make them something bad for them. So jiu-jitsu is a sport that everybody who practices, they say, the best part of my day is when I'm training jiu-jitsu. Some people are very busy, they cannot train every day, but we encourage them to do the minimum of twice a week, 2 times a week, to give you 2 hours to go to the jiu-jitsu school and practice something that you like, and like jiu-jitsu, that is a unique sport, gives you a bond, gives you a connection with other people in a different way. Your training is physical, and the philosophy behind it, it's something that will help people cure stress and be a better person. When they come training, they finish, they go home, they are relaxed, they treat the parents, their wife, the kids better, Yeah, I hear from many students that their wife, for example, say, hey, you have to go train jiu-jitsu, because after they train, they are more relaxed. 100% for sure, yes. This is like grows every day, Here we have new people coming in every day. Imagining with all the schools in the world, people coming in every day. The important thing is all the schools, all the jiu-jitsu schools, have that new student coming in and give them the right message of jiu-jitsu, so they can enjoy and they can keep going, and as the year goes by, they can benefit from that, Because maybe you're going to go train jiu-jitsu, you never train, you come here. If I don't give you a good introduction of the sport, and if you come here and you have a bad experience, what are you going to do? You're going to go outside, you say, I don't want to do this, and everybody who talk about jiu-jitsu, you're going to say, oh, this, I don't like it. So versus when you come here and you do something that you like, they treat you right, and you see yourself, don't matter your age, your physical condition, you can do that sport. You're going to spread the word, and more people are going to come, and more people are going to train. And I think today that's what's been happening with jiu-jitsu. More people are joining, more people are training, more people are benefiting from jiu-jitsu and sharing, on the internet with their friends, with their neighbors, and they grow. The sport is something, it's already huge, 5, 10 years from now, it's going to be even more, be all over the world, yes. Jiu-Jitsu is a sport that you have to give a little bit every day, something that you cannot rush to train, like rush and sprint. You have to, it's a marathon, you have to give your time, go to the school, learn techniques, learn from the higher belts, and try to visualize what the sport can complement to you inside and outside the mats. If everybody, Master Carlos Gracie Jr. says, if the whole world trains Jiu-Jitsu, we would live in a better world today. Yeah, because the Jiu-Jitsu is a good to connect people. You know, people inside the Jiu-Jitsu schools, you see people from all over the world, people with different level of finance, poor, rich, all inside the mats, different religions, and they all go along well inside the mats. So imagine if the whole world trains Jiu-Jitsu, we would live in a better world today. I miss living in Brazil, you know. I believe today a lot of the instructors from Brazil, because they have a better opportunity, for example, United States and Abu Dhabi, ended up traveling, you know. Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil is still very strong, but I see a lot of people going out because the opportunity is better. Seems like sometimes in the foreign countries, they give more value of the Jiu-Jitsu, and it's easier for an instructor, for people to compete, people to make a living off Jiu-Jitsu. Nowadays, it's been changing a little bit. Jiu-Jitsu in Brazil still growing a lot, you know. But depend where you live, depend where you are, you know, you have if you have opportunity to go to a different country, sometimes it makes, you know, they have open doors, they give you more easier opportunities, you know. Like for my case, I started to train in Brazil when I was about 20 years old. I got my black belt, and I didn't see much opportunity there to grow, you know. And I decided to come to the United States, and here I had a great opportunity, and I've been here now for 11 years. I love to live here, you know. And looking back, I miss the family, I miss living there. It's a great country to live, but what I do is Jiu-Jitsu, and I teach Jiu-Jitsu. Here, you cannot compare the amount of the opportunities that we have. The teams in Jiu-Jitsu is like when you go to a competition, right? You have to have a competitor. You have to have somebody, so you test your techniques. Nowadays, we have many big teams, many big Jiu-Jitsu organizations, teams like that country is being involved, like Abu Dhabi. And I think for the sport, it's good to have competition, you know, especially when you go there, you have high-level people from everywhere, you know. But each school, each organization have their own philosophy. Some of them are very close, you know, the way they present, the way they have Jiu-Jitsu is very close, the philosophy of the sport. Some are more different, you know. And Gracie Barra today is the largest Jiu-Jitsu organization in the world with close to 800 schools, you know. There's a lot of great Jiu-Jitsu organizations out there as well, you know. And I think for the sport to grow, it's good to have like this, to have the competition, you know, makes like one push the other, you know. You have to stay up to date, have to be good. They try to do the same. And yeah, it's good for the sport to have many different organizations. In competition, we would say like they have like a top 10 teams in the world, right? As far as where they go, where they compete, and how many champions they have in each tournament and the big tournament. Gracie Barra, for the last 2 years, was considered #1 team in competition because so many schools, so many competitors could compete all over the world as well. And there's different ways to analyze that. You know, there's teams that becomes teams world champion in some tournaments, different tournaments in Abu Dhabi, tournaments in United States, tournaments in Brazil. But I would say that the top 5 teams competition biggest teams in the world are it's not one that's going to be the toughest one. It will be the top 5 academies. Those will be because every time changes. A tournament here can be one thing. A tournament in Brazil can be another thing. It's hard to pick one tournament to judge, you know. It's just like, yeah, the biggest 5 academies in the world today, they are the ones that staying on top and battling inside the mats with each other, which is help the sport to grow. But the good thing about Jiu-Jitsu is most of the competitors outside the mats, they are friends and they go along well. If you go to a Jiu-Jitsu tournament, you see they trying to go after each other inside the mats, and then later they are eating together in the restaurant. You know, this that camaraderie, that family culture that Jiu-Jitsu has is really unique. I see Jiu-Jitsu helping a lot on my personality. When I step inside the mats, I had great people helping me in the beginning and making me feel comfortable, you know, and I felt really good on that. And I always want like to make people feel good, you know. And sometimes when you don't know some people and they look at you, just by giving them a smile, you make them feel comfortable, you know. And something that is my personality. I'm a happy person, and I like to always spread out positivity on people, you know. People be happy. And if I see somebody that's not happy, I like to give them a boost of something that make them laugh, make them comfortable. And I use Jiu-Jitsu to help me with this because I teach on a daily basis, and I deal every day with hundreds of students, you know. And I want them to, like, no matter what happened on their life, when they close to me, when they close to the school, they feel good right there. Give them, you know, the best as I can to make them feel good, you know. It's like I put myself on on their side, you know, and I treat the people how I would like people to treat me. So it's pretty much, you know, no matter who you are, what you do, I always like to treat people the right way that I would like them to treat me, you know. Big pleasure for me. Thank you for all the opportunity to speak, and it's a big pleasure. I'm a big fan of all the work of the Abu Dhabi and Jiu-Jitsu over there. Yes, thank you so much.